Welcome to the Car Dealer Big Fat Podcast of the Year, which I have affectionately called it for now, but may have to have a different name by the time it's published for legal reasons. For those of you who listen to the podcast every week, we usually compete to choose the best stories, but if you're a die-hard listener, you'll know that James and I started this podcast in January with a single roundup of the year before deciding we'd carry it on each week. This is much more complicated than that. This time, after my victory last week against James, I've asked James and Batch to create their own dealer teams. I can see James's face in the background. He looks disgusted.
I am.
We've got 5 rounds that will put their knowledge to the test, and we're putting it onto YouTube too, so you can see what happens. So welcome to both James and Batch. Do you feel like you're up for this memory test today?
Of course.
Absolutely not, no.
A lot of it I think is quite memorable, but some of it I thought, oh,
as long as you haven't picked anything from the summer when I wasn't here, that's fine.
Were you saying you weren't reading the news in the summer?
No, I wasn't in any way.
Well,
I hate to sort of justify my own job here, but I've got through so much news this year. I think I've forgotten it all. So,
oh my word.
So I've asked you to put together teams. So I'm going to start with James. Do you want to introduce your teammate today?
I will indeed. So my teammate is a director of a fantastic franchise dealership business in the Northwest. He comes from a family of car dealers. He is one of the most in the know car dealers I know. I would like to welcome my teammate, Mr. Peter Smythe. Welcome, Peter.
Thank you very much indeed, James. After that introduction, I don't know whether I can live up to this.
Well, you're going to have to. But thank you for doing it.
Let's give it a go.
Let's do it.
So before we get into it, Batch, do you want to introduce who you've chosen to be with you today?
well, Becca, I've brought along with me a man who doesn't need much of an introduction, really. He's from a business called Car Key, and he's one of the nicest guys in the business, really. You can probably tell I'm buttering him up because I really want us to win. But he was also named Dealer's Dealer of the Year at the 2021 Used Car Awards. So with that in mind, I thought he might be quite good at this quiz, although I'm expecting to be proved horribly wrong. It is, of course, Jamie Capel.
Hi there. Hi. Hello. How are we all? What an introduction. Hi, everyone. Merry Christmas.
Jamie, can you just explain what you're wearing, please?
So I didn't think this would be recorded. So I left my Christmas jumper, which arrived 2 days ago, at home. And then you messaged me an hour ago and said, get your Christmas jumper on because it's being videoed. So we've improvised, as we often have to in this business, as you do when you're selling used cars. And we've attached some baubles to a car key hat, got a little star, and I've took the wreath off the door and I've put it behind me. So it looks extremely festive in here.
Jamie, you do sort of look like an anti-Grinch, like the dark version. I like it. Very
quality. It's yeah.
I do apologise for letting you know an hour beforehand. I mean, not wanting to get sort of points off here, but Becca already told me about an hour ago.
You were all told in the email at the very start, but James had also forgotten.
Apparently we were told.
And I don't own a Christmas jumper. I do not own a Christmas
Which shocks me.
So anyway, so that is my partner for today.
I would own a Christmas jumper, but Louis Vuitton don't make one.
Oh, that is a successful car dealer speaking right
there. So let's get on with this first round of the quiz. I think actually now I think about it, this is probably the hardest to start with, so sorry about that. But people who've listened before will know Jamie and Peter really know their stuff when it comes to these things, and James and Batch sort of know what they're talking about. So we've in front of me, I've got the 5 biggest stories of the year on Car Dealer, and we're going to take it in turns to guess which stories these were. We were going to flip a coin, but I realised I don't have a coin. So I think whoever can shout first.
Me. Yes. Sorry, Matt.
Can take a guess first. I think it'll be easier going second because you'll be able to narrow it down.
So what? This is the biggest story of the year in terms of the most viewed on the website.
Yeah. So you're going to get 3 guesses each. I've got the top 5. If you can get any in the top 5, you'll get a point.
Do we get extra points if we wrote it?
No, because I wrote most of them.
Is this a bit like Pointless, or is this the complete opposite of that fantastic game show called Pointless?
Slightly. I'd say this whole thing is slightly more like Have I Got News for You?
Okay, all right.
Right, okay.
Does that make you feel better about the...
Yes, because I'm very familiar with that show.
Okay, good.
Right, so the story that had the most views
Yeah.
right, in the last 12 months.
In the last 12 months. I think I know what this is.
Do you want to confer with Peter, or you just want to go?
I think I'm just going to go for it because I think I'm pretty confident on this one. I think this is the story that where we did a piece about how much profit car dealers make, which was we did an investigation with What Car, I think, and we asked the public how much they thought car dealers make, and then we did a story about that compared to how much they actually make. And I'm pretty sure that was the most popular story of the year, but it was the last time I checked, which was many months ago.
Yeah, so that is still the most popular story of the year. Can you remember how much profit, what was the most profit people thought car dealers made?
On a car, something like
Does that make sense?
£12,000 or something ridiculous like that.
It was 20% margin.
We wish.
We couldn't survive on those margins.
So, Jamie and Batch, do you want to guess what else made it into the top 5 stories of the year?
Jamie, does anything come to mind there? Because unlike James, I'm going to actually involve my partner for this.
Oh, all right.
I remember the MOT one, but that's COVID, so that's probably last year, about MOTs being delayed or something. I remember that had done loads of hits because I'm sure the general public really jumped onto it, but it's kind of rolled into one, hasn't it, these last kind of year and a half, 2 years. So I'd have a guess, but it's probably going to be way off.
Well, I think the MOT stuff was sort of late summer last year, I think. So the one that I think might have done really well is the Cheeky Girls. It was a fantastic story covered by the least likely journalist to know about the Cheeky Girls, and that is, of course, John Bowman. And he covered it when he was covering the weekend coverage, and I don't think he was quite aware of how mad this story went. And by Monday morning, it had sort of not broken the website, but it done a lot of numbers. So that's going to be my choice, the Cheeky Girls.
That was very high up there, but it was not in the top 5, amazingly.
Oh.
I can't believe it wasn't in the top 5, but no. Sorry, Batch.
I would hazard a guess. I mean, I so much wanted to talk about Fartgate, James, but I better not. I so much wanted to talk about that, but don't worry, you can edit it out. But I would have thought when Cinch or BCA or Constellation acquired Marshalls would have created a lot of hits.
I think that would have done, but because it was so late on in the year, I don't think it would have gathered enough numbers to hit those top 5s, because I think these top 5 ones were probably from earlier in the year, because they're sort of the stories that build and build that people search for. Right. I just wonder whether because in January we went into another lockdown, didn't we? A 3rd lockdown, and some of the stories that did incredibly well for us last year were basically fact file pieces like Q&As. Are dealers open during this lockdown? And I seem to remember that January one. We definitely did another similar sort of Q&A piece around that time of year, and they were we got unbelievable traffic on those days. I mean, we're talking thousands of people on the website a day. Johnny Ray was pulling his hair out, building servers upon servers. So I wonder whether that was in that top 5.
Is that your answer?
Happy Peter.
It's my limp answer, yes. No, it's not.
Let's go for it.
Yes,
Wow.
that was this is one where I probably should listen to Jamie, because part of this was the MOT angle, but the second biggest story of the year was, can car dealers open in the 2021 lockdown, which obviously started on January 5th last year.
But it went on for so long, didn't it? It went on for a good 2-3 months, that lockdown. I just reckon people were searching that question constantly, one after another.
People are still searching, aren't they? People don't understand if they're allowed an MOT or not.
True. Excellent. 2-0.
Batch and Jamie, what's your next guess?
I'll go, if you don't mind, the batch. I'm going to say a story involving Kazoo, because I think there's been so many stories about them over the year that there's half a chance that one of them's made it into the top 5. Whether it was sponsorship of it. No, I tell you what, I'll nail it. The sponsorship of 2 Premier League football teams by Kazoo, or a Kazoo-ish answer, or a Kazoo-ish piece. I'll say that's fair.
Kazoo-ish.
So you could roll,
clever answer there, Jamie.
you could roll all the Kazoo stories into one, and it would definitely be top 5.
Yeah, if we did that, then yes, that probably would be. But no, they were up there, but they didn't make it into the top 5.
Oh, Jamie!
Sorry. Got a thing for Kazoo, haven't I? I'm sorry.
I told you this round is tough. It's going to get easier, I promise you.
Can I have a go?
No, it's not your go.
You can have a go after.
It's our go.
This is James and Peter's last go of this round.
Go on, Jamie, because obviously I'm thinking more trade, and you are thinking the fact that obviously the trade go onto your site, but also a vast number of the public do as well. So,
I reckon that's where these most popular stories come from. And there's 2 that sort of spring to mind. There was one that happened during the petrol crisis recently, where that car dealer in, I can't remember where it was, Surrey way, had a massive go at some customers, and it was all recorded on video. That was one of them. I haven't decided which one I'm going to go with. And another one is the other stories that do really well on our website. One's about dealers being naughty, because the trade are really interested in who they are and what they did wrong, and consumers are just like, I'm really angry about dealers doing something naughty. But I couldn't pinpoint the latter, and I'm sure
what about and you take them all in general, people looking on the site about the rising used car prices?
Yeah. I think that we've done so many of them. Can we use that as a topic,
Rebecca's eyes twinkling.
Yes, you can.
So let's go with that, Peter. Let's go with a rise in used car prices story.
Number 3 in the top 5 stories of the year is, how long can used car prices continue to rise?
Yes, Peter.
Well, yeah, I've got somebody in the background helping me out. His brother John.
Batch's face. I should probably take that point away.
Peter, this is appalling. I had so much respect for you, especially on the Jeremy Vine show. I had a lot of respect for you. And then
what you've got to remember, anybody who knows us in the trade know that me, John and David come as a set of triplets.
Exactly. See, that's why I picked the family team.
Honestly, you car dealers, you're always looking at numbers, whether it's a glasses guide or it's numbers on a website. You're always looking at stuff, aren't you?
So I'm going to give you a hint, Batch. And if you went with James's sort of car dealers being naughty, that would narrow it down a bit. Like, there's obviously still a lot to choose from in that.
You've got to get the headline exactly right, word for word.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's much harder to choose these ones.
Oh, I think I know it.
James, what about the guy, the We Buy Any Car guy who was trying to get the girl a better price on a car by her going out on a date with him, or is that too recent to have done the views?
I think that's too recent. I think the one that comes to mind is the Ford dealer principal who was caught on video swearing at somebody during the petrol crisis. And I think that story went absolutely berserk on our website. So whether it hit the top 5 or not, I don't know. But that did particularly well, that story.
Are we going with it?
Should we go with it?
Yeah. Or what about the car thief who got trapped in the toilet, like trapped in the car dealership?
One of my favourites.
What about him?
I don't remember that story.
No. No, let's go with yours. I've got your kind of, you you've got the inside knowledge. You know, you work for car dealers. Surely you should have a good idea here, James. I'm going with you.
No, it doesn't. It makes no bearing on this whatsoever. Yeah, okay, right. We're going to go for the Ford dealer principal who was shouting at the customer and it was caught on video.
I'm afraid that is good, but not quite good enough.
I'll tell you what, can I come in with one? What
You can give it a go.
What about the dodgy customer who tried to missell the Ferrari?
No, not that either.
Oh, good story though.
Good, yeah.
Good story.
Good stories. I'm impressed that you guys remember so many. Number 4 was car dealers and garages named and shamed by HMRC for not paying minimum wage.
See them doing dealers doing naughty things.
And number 5 was dealership employee drove off in Volkswagen Golf to sell it himself for £3,500 on eBay.
Really, that was number 5. Wow.
It's run quite early on in the year though, so yeah.
How many views did number 1 get?
Oh, I couldn't tell you now.
No.
It was like 200,000 or something though.
Right.
It's a lot of views.
Okay, well this quiz is rubbish so far.
So rubbish that Jamie's disappeared, has he?
So yeah, at the end of that round, James and Peter have 3 points and Batch and Jamie have 0 points. But it's still to play for. There's lots of points to be won.
Excellent.
I'm very sorry. I just departed there by mistake. I'm very sorry.
Oh, he's back.
Oh, there we are. There we are.
Sorry, guys.
Back on level
Technical difficulties at Car Key.
You're back just in time because I'm going to explain the next round. So this is the how many round, and I'm going to ask you some questions, and you need to shout out your name to answer first. And if you get the right answer, you get the points. And if you don't get the right answer, the other team gets a chance to answer. And if you're both wrong, the closest number wins.
Do we push the chaser back one or not?
No, please don't make it more complicated. But basically, they're all number answers. Just shout your name if you think you know the answer, and I'll ask you. So the first question is, how many businesses did Kazoo buy in 2021?
Oh,
Peter.
Peter, going to you.
4.
No, that's wrong.
Batch.
Yeah.
17.
No. It's slightly too high. Yeah, I'm afraid the answer is 6. So that's going to go to James and Peter. They bought Smart Fleet Solutions, Cluno, SMH, Kazana, Swipcar, is that how you say it? Vans and Vans 365, although that does need to go through FCA approval. So.
Was it only 6? It feels like
I know, it feels like a lot more, doesn't it? I didn't actually tot up exactly how much they'd spent on all those, but it was a lot of money.
I would say the interesting one is how many are they going to buy next year?
Yeah, we're going to see it grow a lot, I think.
or how many more sporting events are they going to sponsor? They're sponsoring the darts, the snooker, the rugby, football. They're sponsoring everything.
The derby, they're on horse racing, everything.
They're doing the dominoes in Wilmslow.
It's a big competition, that.
Massive.
Okay, so next question. Arnold Clark posted the highest profit for 2020 in our top 100, but by how much were they above the rest?
James.
Jamie.
James, that was you.
They were 70 million above the next best place.
Wrong. Jamie, do you want to guess?
120 million.
Yes, that is, well, that's not right, but that is closer. They had an EBITDA of 354.2 million, putting them 236.7 million ahead of their nearest rival, Sytner.
Wow.
I just got on my calculator 200 million, by the way, James.
Sorry, Peter.
Damn. This one is going to definitely be a guess for all of you, but how many times did we report on used car prices rising this year?
Jamie.
Jamie.
17.
17?
Yeah.
No, that's not right.
Batch, 132 times.
Oh God, I'm going to do the maths now to work out who's closest.
No, hang on. We need to have a guess. Peter, we need to have a guess because they both had a guess.
Oh, yeah.
That
confused me.
We'll confer. What do you say, James?
Well, I reckon at least 2 a month. At least.
So we go for 24.
Yeah.
Well, they're not going
The answer is 78.
Oh my word!
See,
Really?
that's lazy journalism. You're just churning the same story over and over and over. Yes.
Jamie,
yeah, I think
Jamie, it's been unprecedented. Come on. It's
yeah,
that
I could have
good.
counted the number of times we used the word unprecedented, but I decided not to.
No.
Yeah, when you think about, I mean, this is talking about things like auction prices as well, but the number of times people have told us about used car prices going up as well. So I think I'm going to have to give that to Batch because he was the closest, but that is...
Come on.
Brilliant.
You like the quiz now, do you?
I'm liking it now.
Oh, good. And very topical one at the moment, but how much has the government cut the plug-in car grant by this year?
Batch.
They've
cut it by £1,000 to £1,500.
James.
No.
Peter.
Yeah, Peter, you go for it because you will definitely
I
know.
think they've cut it by £2,500.
I think you're right.
No.
No? What have they
No,
cut?
unless you can prove me wrong, they cut it by £500 in March and a further £1,000 in December, meaning it's £1,500.
Oh.
Which I think actually makes Batch closer.
What did Batch say?
Yes.
1,000.
Yeah.
Well, no, because the most recent one was £1,000, and that's what I thought you were referencing. So
Yeah, because there was two, wasn't there?
Yeah. So I am correct. No two ways about it. We get the point.
Yes, so that means that the scores are now 4 to James and Peter, but 3 to Batch and Jamie.
Close.
We're rowing back.
So this is where it's going to get a little bit complicated, and what I need you to do now is pull up the slides that I sent you.
Slides.
Can you now see 4 pictures?
Yeah, we can see that.
Okay, so what you need to do is come up with what is the car dealer story from this, and what do these 4 pictures have in common? And the first person to guess correctly gets the point. This is the hardest one.
Is it? I'm going to go. Can I have a go?
Yeah.
Is that? Peter, you need to help me here. Is that Jeff Bezos?
That's Jeff. That's Bezos.
That's Jeff.
Obviously, that's Boris.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
Boris.
thinking Renault, and I'm thinking Thierry Henry because of Arsenal. No.
I'm not sure what. So this is one story, yeah. This is one story. So, or is it some? Is some of them a red herring? One of them's a red herring.
They're 4 different stories.
Right.
But it will point you to one or more stories that were on Car Dealer this year, but they've all got something in common.
I think this is something to do with. Well, the only Amazon one I can remember is one where we talked about selling cars. Did we talk about Amazon going into the used car business or the new car business?
They actually did that in 2019 and did a thing with FCA, and it absolutely bombed because I supplied some vehicles.
Did you?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure this story came around again early part of this year. I seem to remember writing something about it. I don't think Boris is going to be selling cars. I don't. That's it's a
I'm going to give you a clue, all
on.
of you, because obviously Batch and Jamie, you can still play in this. It's not to do with them selling stuff, it's to do with them buying stuff. Jamie, was that you?
No, it's just I'm looking at it. I see blue everywhere. Blue car, Blue Origin, which is his space company, blue for the Tories, and a bit of blue for the Hammers Away kit, I think. But that's obviously nothing to do with the story on Car Dealer. So I'm struggling. Batch.
I've not got a clue.
I want to give you this one.
Yeah.
Can we have another clue? Another clue?
Another clue.
Yeah. What can I give you that's a clue that's not going to give it away though? It's to do with advertising.
Still
There's a lot of blank faces.
Still no idea.
No.
So these guys, all of them are the biggest spenders. So Renault spent the most on their advertising campaign in 2020. We released that this year, which was actually a lot less than what brands have spent in previous years, but they came out top. Arsenal, the biggest spenders when it comes to buying footballers or whatever they do. were the biggest marketing spender pre-pandemic with 11 billion, kind of puts into perspective how much they're spending, more than Renault on advertising the Zoe. And UK government tripled its marketing spend in 2020, up by 238% to 164 million for its advertising about the COVID campaign.
Still nowhere near Kazoo though.
No, not quite.
I would never have got that. Thank you for answering.
This
But
one's a
now
lot
it's
well, I think this one's a lot
tenuous.
easier, but we'll see. What do these have in common?
Can't
They're
see.
all cars.
They're all cars.
You've still got.
Oh, yeah.
Are they all cars that no longer exist?
Sort of.
They all stopped production this year in the UK.
Right. I'm going to go to Batch because Batch was right with that. But what are the stories from a car dealer this year?
Well, Mitsubishi leaving the UK.
Mm-hmm.
Toyota Camry going off sale.
Mm-hmm.
Was it ever on sale?
It was.
Yeah.
I know.
A bit harsh, that.
Yeah.
I think they sold about 2 of them this year.
All right.
They're
So-
a great car, by the way.
Really?
Yeah. No,
We need
Peter's
a whole podcast devoted to that, Peter.
Peter sold 2 of them.
If you speak to Stephen Eagle, he will be driving one now into the car park to pick up his Bentley.
Yeah, but it's duller than ditch water. But anyway, let's not talk about the Toyota Camry.
Any advances?
Chrysler, well, they no longer exist. And Volvo, did they stop selling diesel engines in the XC60?
Yes.
It's got to be it.
Yeah.
So in this case, obviously the Ypsilon is the odd one out because that happened a long time ago.
Oh, I see.
But yes, the other 3 they were all discontinued this year in the UK.
Well done, Batch. Good one.
Yeah, patch.
What do we get? 10 points? What do we get?
-4.
You got 3 points for that because you got the 3.
Okay.
So here is the next one for you. This is the last one in this round. So for people listening on the podcast, we've got I don't really know if I should. I'm going to wait for one of you to guess what these things are. You should know.
Rangers, man. What happened with Rangers?
Well, the only thing I can think with Rangers is, were they not happy at advertising Cinch on their
Yes,
on the
that is
sleeve?
the correct story.
That's the correct story, Peter. Oh, so what? Is it something to do with advertising?
Changing the
Is it changing the emblems? You've got
Yes.
Peugeot, you've got Kia changed theirs.
Mazda haven't.
Mazda, I don't think look as though they did change the emblems, to be honest. But certainly Kia and Peugeot did.
Did Rangers?
Any advances on what the final story is about?
Is that the one that the Mazda that's identical to the Toyota, but just with a different badge on it?
Yeah. So this is all about rebadging. Peugeot have obviously changed their logo this year. At the beginning of the year, Kia also changed their logo. Rangers didn't want to change and put the Cinch logo on, and Mazda have taken the Toyota and switched around their logo onto it.
Does that mean we get points?
Yeah, you did get points in that.
Do we get some as well?
Yes,
We
you
get
got
me?
points as well.
Nice.
So you're both on 7 now.
Oh,
7.
Oh, close.
I just get ridiculously competitive, like I'm saying now, like we've got to win this. We've got to win this.
So hopefully this is going to work on. We're going to stay with the slideshows. This next round is about the missing words. Obviously, we've covered this slightly earlier, but each week on the podcast, we tend to pull out the stories with the craziest headlines. So we're going to be testing your memory of those. We've taken some of the words out of each headline. Can you guess the missing words? And I will take answers that are closest. I'm going to have to get someone to shout again because I was going to go with the person who was losing, but actually you're both drawing, which doesn't work very well.
So do we get a go each, or do we have to shout our names?
Yeah, we're going to take it in turns, and but if someone can shout their name first.
Batch.
Well done, Batch. Someone's listening. So this is your first one, Batch and Jamie. It's got teenager handed rehabilitation order after night of havoc saw blank wrecked at dealership.
Brilliant.
I'd like to give a comedic answer, but then we'll lose points if we do that.
You can have some guesses, but
Toilets.
it's going to sound like there's a theme on Car Dealer.
Yeah.
If in doubt, the answer's always Lulu, isn't it? So is it Lulu?
Or
I don't know. BMWs.
I would say showroom wrecked at dealership.
No, you're both wrong. It is actually 31 Skodas.
31 Skodas.
Wow.
So irrelevant, we forgot all about it.
I know, that was quite a big story at the time. So James and Peter, this is your one. Burglar found hiding in blank after causing thousands of pounds of damage.
Toilets. He was hiding in the toilets.
Gotta be the toilet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of my favourite stories of the year, this.
Yeah.
So, Batch and Jamie, very topical for the moment. Jingle Bale. Man arrested for assaulting dealer who dressed as Father Christmas after he bumped into him with blank.
There's no way we covered this on Car Dealer.
Yep, this is definitely a John Bowman story.
This is definitely only John Bowman would come up with Jingle Bale.
Yeah.
Man arrested for assaulting dealer dressed as Father Christmas, bumped into him with, I don't know, sack.
Massive reindeer.
Both of you are close with both of those.
Sleigh.
You can't guess as well, James. It's
I'm
not your
sorry.
turn. You've got to let them have a chance and decide first.
Just Santa-related item.
Yeah. It's the Santa-related item. What does Santa have?
Presents. He's big sack.
Carrot.
No.
Carrots.
Mince pie.
James and
Big
Peter,
Santa belly.
Yes.
Come on.
What was
I can't believe you guessed that.
Big Santa belly.
I thought it was going to be one where people have seen the story and they know, but when you didn't know, I thought there's no chance. Santa belly, wonderful.
Is this recent? Is this from
Yeah.
last Christmas?
No, that was like a last month or something. Maybe the beginning of the month.
Very
Do
good.
not remember that.
This is a really recent one, so if you don't know it, shame on you.
Oh,
Man stole truck from dealership, then blank, say police.
man stole truck from dealership.
Oh, Batch.
No, it's James and Peter's
Oh.
go, but you've got to let them have it.
I don't know him. Man stole truck from dealership, then drove it home. Man stole truck from dealership, then delivered what was in it. Man stole truck from dealership, then parked it.
I do not remember that one at all.
I don't.
Batch, do you want to have a go?
Man stole truck from dealership, then sold it.
Sold
so
it.
police.
No, I thought you actually knew what it was.
Can I have a go?
Yeah,
Man stole truck from dealership, then drove it back to dealership the next day.
What about man stole truck from dealership naked?
yes, that is the correct answer.
Yes.
Man stole truck from dealership, then drove it while naked for nearly 30 miles, say police.
I actually sent this story to John Bowman, didn't I? Was this like the weekend?
Last week or something?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, this is a very recent one.
The only reason I knew that it was because it was one of my brothers. But I'm not telling you which one.
after the Christmas party.
So at the end of that round, James and Peter are now leading 9-8. But now we've got the final round of the quiz, which is the quick fire round, which is just questions, and you can shout in if you know the answer. First correct answer gets a point. So first up, Kazoo listed on the New York Stock Exchange on July 27th, aiming for £8 billion. But how much did they actually float for?
6.5.
Jamie,
Yeah, Jamie.
I was going to say 6, but
No.
I'll say 6.5.
No.
No.
Or was it 1.5 billion pounds?
No. They made $1 billion, which is probably where you're getting that from.
Yeah.
James, 7 billion.
Yeah, 7 billion.
It was definitely what they were expecting, wasn't it?
What are we going to get onto some that we've covered already, but I'm going to go from anyway and see if you can remember them. What musical duo hit headlines working
Batch.
in
Peter.
Batch. That
It
was
was the
you.
Cheeky Girls, Gabriella and Monica.
Oh,
Batch.
Bonus
Very
points.
Specific.
Bonus points there. What dealership did they work at for an additional bonus point?
They were both
Peter, Hyundai
dealerships.
dealership.
It's getting really competitive now.
I'm becoming Quizmaster, sorry.
Lembit pick.
Next question. Which British factory was at risk of closing in 2021?
Batch.
Batch.
Ellesmere Port.
Yes, that's correct. What dealer boss got into trouble because of a skate park?
Jamie,
Trade Centre Wales.
Yeah,
the Trade Centre Wales guy.
yeah, great trade centre.
Can you remember his name for an extra point?
My
John something.
Bailey.
Mark
yeah.
Bailey.
Mark Bailey.
Which manufacturer cancelled its contracts with dealers? Peter.
Stellantis.
Yes, I was going to say you should know that one because we talked about that on the podcast. Which organisation caused problems for dealerships by striking this year?
James. DVLA. DVLA.
DVLA.
This is the last question now. Which business took over Mitsubishi after sales?
James.
Batch.
IM Group.
Yeah.
You can't just shout it out.
Well,
You've got to say your
James.
name. You've got to say your name, and then you go. Otherwise, we never win because you always say the answer.
That's what I said.
Well
my
done,
name's
James.
Buzz.
Unbelievable.
Play it back.
I'm just going to tell what the scores were now.
Just remember to put ours on right.
I'm fuming. I'm fuming at that. I'm fuming.
You can see that.
We needed a buzzer.
In first though. So at the end of that round, in that round, James and Peter scored 8 and Batch and Jamie scored 3, bringing the final scores to 15 for James and Peter and 10 for Batch and Jamie.
Well, there you go.
That's because James cheated.
A Christmas victory.
Batch, I'm sorry. I've been lame. I'm really sorry.
Yeah, honestly.
Christmas belly.
James, if it's any consolation, Batchelor that is, I'll get you some tickets to a Cheeky Girls concert.
Oh, I shudder to think what I have to do in return, Peter. But yes,
Well, there you go.
You have to buy an i10 from them.
So congratulations, James and Peter. There are no prizes except for the honour of saying that you've won the car dealer quiz of the year 2021.
That'll sort of do.
You can have the hat with the baubles if you want. I can ship that out as a prize.
You keep that, Rich.
But thank you all of you for playing along with the car dealer quiz. I hope you enjoyed guessing the stories of the year. We will be back with the Car Dealer podcast again in January. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple or any other good podcast platform, then make sure to hit the follow, subscribe button. If you're watching on YouTube, you can listen to less elaborate versions of this quiz every Friday, where we cover what happened this week. So head on over and find us on all good podcast platforms. But thank you again. Thank you to all of the panelists today. And until next time, goodbye.
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 Bye.
Thank you.